Hi, welcome to Space Invaders. This is the show that helps you with the simple and the more difficult building tasks. And I get a chance to look around some old and interesting buildings. Now today we're in Leicester city centre. We're looking at an old disused factory, which they're trying to convert into loft apartments, breathe new life into the building and light by the use of glass building blocks. Hi, you must be Jason.
Hello.
All right, and what's the task we're going to do today then?
Just putting a glass screen block at the side of the door.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've seen plenty of them in the building. You're using them a lot. Yeah. Is that because they allow light into areas?
Allows light into the.
But wouldn't you think there's a problem with the fire restrictions?
There could be, but we're going to put a rock wool packing at the side of the glass blocks.
Yeah.
And then there will be an intermittent mastic strip.
Right, and the intermittent strip, when it gets hot, expands and seals the thing in.
Yes.
And how long does that give you?
Well, for a single block, half hour.
Right, okay. Oh, that's good. So at least they're safe in that respect. Now these two, these are the steel rods, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now they go, you're only going to have two in the middle?
Yes, I'll go strengthen the blocks in the middle there.
Right.
I'll build a few courses up and then slide the first one in.
Right. Is there any other side supports for it?
Yes, we should be using the strengthening ties at the side with the slip collar.
These glass blocks was something that was used a lot in the 50s and 60s, and then they sort of went out of favour, and now they've come back in favour because people are using all these difficult spaces, like these loft spaces, and creating nice flats and apartments out of them. Okay, so what's the next stage? What are we going to do first?
We're just cutting some spacers at the moment. Obviously, a full spacer, centre space will come there.
Right.
And it's got the tabs on the front to actually hold the four corners of each block.
Oh, right. Glass block mortar. Oh, right. Easy to use inside and outside. And it's water and frost resistant.
Yes.
So these could actually be used for constructing a shower or something like that if you wanted to.
Yes.
Oh, that's clever.
There's obviously different grouts. You can use a different grout.
Mm. Well, when I used to build these a long time ago, many years ago, we didn't have all the
spacers.
And all the clever bits that went with them. It was pure craftsmanship in those days.
Years ago.
And what you need to do, not Dr. Kildare, it's me. If you're doing this at home, don't forget, wear a mask. With this material, you must put the water in first, then add the powder. You don't want to knock up more than you're going to use in, say, an hour and a half. It needs to be, according to Jason, the consistency of a snowball.
Come on, Tommy, we haven't got all day.
There's no pleasing some people. What are you putting that bit of plastic on there for, Jason?
And that just allows for the thermal movement of the glass.
Thermal movement of the glass?
Yes.
What you mean, in fact, is to allow for expansion joint around the whole unit?
That's correct.
Thermal unit. This is finished now, so you can start building with this now. Here we are, this is what we're talking about. These are the glass blocks. They're very light, very easy to use. And this white outer lining, that's just so that you can't see the mortar when you actually constructed them. They're really great stuff. They used to be considered a bit iffy, you see, but now they're very much in vogue because they allow light into places where you haven't got any access for light normally. But if you want to create something that's obscure, that's one side, it's been sandblasted the other. That still allows the light in, but it still gives you the privacy that you want for a toilet or a bathroom. Right, that's it. Jason?
Thank you.
So we've got the first 2 courses on in this wall. We're putting in the 2 side ties every 2 courses, I believe.
Yes.
And they're screw fixed, yeah?
Yes.
And that ties the brick wall to the side. Okay, got that.
Slip collars on for allow for movement.
Right. We've got the bit of plastic at the bottom, which you was talking about earlier. And you've got the spacers. Trim the 2 side ones to allow for the frame.
And obviously the corner ones,
Right.
yes.
Now, when do we put the reinforcing rods in?
We shall build it up 3 courses, put the bar in.
Right, but what happens when you get right up here?
We'd probably just build up to the top of the first bar, then slip the next bar in.
Slip the next one in, because we're restricted at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's great. Right, well I'll slip off and I'll pop back and see you when you're a bit further up, yeah?
Yeah.
This old factory has got some special memories for David Pick. He used to be the factory boss. Right, well, when did this factory have its real busy era?
Oh, in the late 1920s, 1930s.
Manufacturing what?
Knitwear, men's knitwear.
Men's knitwear?
Men's knitwear only then.
Oh, right. What, fashion stuff in particular?
No, it was more all cut and sewn on circular machines then.
Yeah.
We gradually developed it and later on got fully fashioned machines.
What, for the general public? This was all
General public, yes.
And do you remember, I mean, we're in a newer part of the factory now from the main part.
Yeah.
And do you remember exactly what went on in this particular area?
Oh yes, this was a fully fashioned making up department, this particular piece that we're in now. Mm.
What, here?
Here, just here.
Right.
The fully fashioned machines were down below.
Below here, machines,
yeah.
and then it came up here
That's right.
for finishing.
Yeah, yeah.
And how many people would you have had working here at, say, at its busiest time?
What, 1948, there were 300.
300 employees?
Yeah. And they told me that before the war there was 500 in this building. Mm.
Right.
I don't know how they got in.
Well, it's a big building,
Yeah,
mind you.
yeah,
I mean, it's
I
a
don't know how they got
fantastic
in.
building. It's lovely. Are you happy at the transformation for the building?
Yes, I am. I think it's been very sympathetically done, and I'm very pleased to see it going to be useful rather than just knocked down.
Oh yeah, the trouble was they've knocked down too many lovely industrial buildings, and you know, I used to put up these great big concrete tower blocks.
Yeah.
At least now, with a bit of innovation, you know, and a bit of creativity, these places can be brought into residential use.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are still used commercially, but they're not really. People want purpose-built
They're
stuff
not
nowadays.
suitable commercially because you want them all on one floor nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can move equipment and people about without any troubles.
But they're ideal for these. Have you heard of these loft-style conversions? Very American and French.
I only seen them on the television, that's all. I'd never heard about them before this was done.
Well, they've become very popular, and I approve because it saves part of our industrial heritage, you know, for later on. I mean, it was our first conversion in this country was in the Docklands in about 1984.
Yeah.
The first loft conversion style industrial building, which was more like a takeoff of what was going on in Manhattan, in the Soho area. Very popular stuff. But I mean, anything that sort of retains these lovely old industrial buildings for the future, I'm in favour of it, even if it means
Oh, so I am too as well because
changing
I
it
think,
for
yes.
domestic use. Join us in part 2, when I'll meet the architect for this conversion and we'll see how Jason's getting on building the wall of glass bricks. Hi, welcome back. Today we're in an old factory that's being converted into loft-style apartments, and we're building a panel of glass blocks. Jason's made good progress. He's just put in the steel rod for the top half of the panel. Don't forget when you're doing this at home, don't leave these steel rods out. They're vital for the strength of this wall. Anyone at home can do this with these spaces provided now. They weren't around in my day, but they make the job very easy for DIY people. know, David, did your father have this factory built?
No, it was my grandfather.
Your grandfather?
Yep.
Do you know when?
1914.
1914. I wonder how much it cost in 1914.
Well, not very much in today's world. Here's the invoice from the architect.
What, the original invoice?
The original invoice.
Oh, this will be interesting. Oh, it's all in that lovely old-fashioned writing. Is this the price here?
That's the price.
Goodness gracious. £9,896, 4 shillings and 5 pence. Well, that's amazing.
There was no
Absolutely
VAT on
wonderful.
it.
No VAT, yes. That made it a bit cheaper, I can assure you of that. Well, that's a wonderful story. Thanks very much for letting me see that. And what happened after that? Your father, I presume, took over from your grandfather?
That's right, yes.
Yeah. And when was that?
Well, a bit after the war, the First World War.
Right. A bit after the
First World War,
after the First World War.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was he like?
He was a bit of an oddity.
He was?
Yes, very much so. He used to go about in the street and he would get hold of people's collar and pull it back and look at the label and say to them, I made that garment.
What, a complete stranger?
Complete stranger, yes. They all seemed to accept it. Nobody objected to that.
Well, that's a lovely story. Well, any sort of jumper that they had on, or was it just service?
Oh, anything. No, not the servicemen, no. But, but I have got a garment that we made for the servicemen for you to try on and see whether it
For me?
fits you. Yes, for you.
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. And is this an original?
That's original.
An original pick garment?
Yes,
Made
definitely.
on these premises?
Definitely, yes.
Well, so we'd have to try that on. Thanks very much. We'll see whether this fits.
Well, you'll have to slim if it doesn't.
I'll have to slim, yes. Thanks very much, David. We can do without those sort of comments. What do you think? Oh, well done, Jason. You finished it then. Well, almost finished it. Let's have a bit of a recap what we've got to go through here. Now, first of all, we put the plastic on the bottom. I'll say we, I mean you. Plastic on the bottom. Then you put in 2 blocks, then the 2 side ties.
Yes.
Then another 2 blocks, 2 more side ties.
Yes, not forgetting the bar. Which
And then
goes
the
in
bars
middle
go in the middle, yeah.
for the strength, yes.
And then continue that right the way up and get the top bar in where you could. And every 2 blocks you put the side ties in. Okay. Right up to the top. And now what do we do now?
Well, now we've just got to flush up the joints.
Right, bring
Keep
them
them
all
flush.
flush so they're full up.
Yep.
Covering all these spaces.
Yep.
Right. And when do we put the insulation in?
Well, first of all, I've got to sponge the face off and clean it up. And then we shall be putting the rock wool packing in the sides.
Right.
And then we shall run the intermittent mastic around the edge.
Right. Now, a very important tip for you at home if you're doing this is make sure you clean down these glass blocks very, very thoroughly. That's right, isn't
Yeah,
it?
make sure that it's dry before you run the mastic straight down the sides.
So get it to this stage and then do all the cleaning up. Probably leave it for a day or 2 before you do the packing and the mastic strip all the way around the side. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, have you got it? When you're cleaning these glass blocks up at home, once you've wiped them down with a wet cloth and you've got a greasy film, let it dry to a white powder. Use a dry, soft cloth to dust it off. What a wonderful view, Stuart. It's marvellous. You know what I really admire about people like you, bringing these old industrial buildings back into use. Old industrial buildings, converted ones, are very close to my heart.
It's superb to see it, Tommy. It's a lovely building to put into this use. It was previously a factory, and to actually see living space here as we stand right in the centre of Leicester is absolutely marvellous regeneration.
So this was just derelict?
Absolutely. It was empty for about 10 years, but it's been put to very good use now. We've got some quality apartments in here.
Was this balcony here, or did you create this space?
Well, there was no balcony here at all. It was continuous glazing from end to end along the factory, and this has been pushed back with the cheeks being formed, and here we are on a balcony which leads straight into the living space.
Right, well, let's go inside and have a look inside. Oh, this is wonderful. All them lovely roof lights, and presume that you're going to actually create another floor, because you'll never be able to open those windows, those roof lights, will you?
No, in fact, we've got a good 20 feet from floor to floor here, Tom, and we definitely would be thinking of using the space for some upper floor space for bedrooms and the like, but we'd want to keep the space all flowing. We don't want any closed shells. We want to use all the light that we have. We've got stacks of light here, and see what we can do with the space.
Well, this is like an unfinished canvas to me, and I like it. I think it's marvellous as it is.
Well, this is how we can actually transform it into a living unit. This is where we're standing now, as you can see, Tommy, and we're thinking here of going from the balcony space into a nice big living area, plenty of light. We're bringing the space all the way back in one to the kitchen area, so we have a large living kitchen area.
Right.
And the entrance area into the hallway with a WC, and we're thinking of stairs up here, and that will take us up to the upper level.
Right.
And here we're thinking in terms of a bedroom space which has a balcony frontage over here,
right,
which looks down to
That's
the
all open,
two-storey living space there.
I understand.
And off the landing we have the bedroom and the bathroom. And these are all top lit with roof lights.
These squares are roof lights, yeah?
Yeah, there's light flooding in from the front and there's light flooding in from the top. We want to make the best use of that light.
How do you suspend that mezzanine floor, by the way? You never mentioned that. Is that on a steel?
The mezzanine floor is into the side walls, but we've got a steel beam across here which ties across in the middle of the living space.
Right.
So the mezzanine space is over here, and then we've got normal joist arrangements across here built into joist hangers on the walls.
So it's all beautiful, bright space.
That's what we want to keep, bright space, but not changing the character of the building.
Right, and I suppose the design will be fairly minimalistic.
Absolutely, it's a modern concept. We're keeping it crisp, we're keeping it bright, light, and an industrial feel. We don't want to make it cosy house. It's an industrial feel.
So you'll emphasise the original industrial features like the floor, the steel beams, and this open wooden ceiling here.
Yeah, the steel beams we must keep. They're a very strong feature. Everything about this building is good for residential use. We've got a superb maple floor here. Yeah. It's maintenance free. It's bright. It's light, and with the steel work and the glass. Everything here is quite exciting.
Do you know, Stuart, I would really love to see one finished. Do you know that?
What do you think, Tom?
Wow, this is sensational, isn't it? I'll tell you what, I like what you've done with those, mate, those glass blocks.
Yeah, these are the normal glass blocks, but this time we've sandblasted the back of them, and that diffuses the light.
Yeah.
We've put some backlighting, and as you can see along here, we've just drilled some long holes along, and that just gives a little line of spangle.
Mark, this is a wonderful apartment, but why did you choose loft-style living?
I think, Tommy, it's all about individuality. You get the openness, the space, the light in here is absolutely fantastic. It's a really open space and the whole thing just flows with the living and the kitchen space. We just loved it as soon as we saw it.
But why did you choose this particular building? And its position, you know?
I guess it's the proximity to the bars, the restaurants, nightclubs, health clubs.
But tell me, what sort of people do you find are living in this building with you?
quite social people, I guess. Lots of couples, not very many children living here, all like a good time, meet up, have a few drinks and go out really and have a good time.
And any older people who live here, no?
There are two strata. I guess the people whose kids have left home and they think that this building provides a lot of security for them. Spend time away from home, they can lock it up and not worry about it.
So obviously the people that live in this building are not really semi-detached type people, not terrace type of people. So you think and they think that loft style living is the pick of the bunch?
Absolutely.
Don't forget when you're doing this at home, it's very sharp, this insulation, it's fiberglass. So don't forget to wear your gloves and pack it well in. Oh, nice colour gloves, Jason. We're using intermittent mastic here because we're creating a fireproof screen. If you don't need to create a fireproof screen, you can just seal it as normal. Thanks, Jason. That's a great job. Well done.
Tommy.
And don't forget that you at home, if you want to try this, it's very simple to do. It's a very flexible way of getting light from one area to another. And these blocks also come in a range of different colours. A little bit more expensive. Well, that's it for now. See you next time on Space Invaders.
And the big fella's back for another building project next on Quest, restoring a Victorian workers' cottage in Moore, Tommy Walsh's Space Invaders.